Hey, good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and follow along with my little project. So, like I said in the first video, this is my family's 1949 Farmall Super A. My grandfather bought brand new in 1949. So, I'm going through, I'm repairing it, and slowly working on a restoration on it. So, the first order was to get it running. Motor was not seized up. Before my dad passed away, he had told me that there was some stuff that needed to be fixed. I addressed that. Mainly it was the ignition system that had to be going through. The radiator had a leak, and the throttle cable, or the throttle rod pivot, was froze up. So that's just basically the gist of what needed to be done to get it running, and that's what I've done so far. So you can see I've already stripped all the gunk off the motor, and I've also painted the front half. I'm going to apologize now. I lost the footage from me stripping it and painting it. I will look and look and look some more, but I don't know if I have it or not. I can't seem to find it. So unfortunately, it is what it is. So we'll kind of do a little bit of go through of what I've gone and done. So first and foremost, you can tell I've cleaned off all the gunk off the motor and some off the transmission bell housing. Now you can see the rest of the tractor still a little greasy. That black all over the hydraulic pump is actually a rust converting primer, so that's why it kind of looks like that. But the hole from the bell housing back still needs to be addressed, but I wanted to get it running. So I went through the ignition system, put a new coil on there, I put a new cap, I did all new internals on the distributor, you know, points, condenser, rotor, seals, all that stuff inside there. I did new wires, I did new plugs, they're up in there. I also went through the governor. So this is the throttle governor. The governor is actually inside there, but I went through the governor housing for the throttle. I replaced the internal springs. Luckily, the rock shaft and the bushings and all that were still in good condition, so I didn't touch any of that. I also went through the linkage right here, the throttle rod linkage. It was froze up right here in this where it goes into the arm. So I had to drill out the cotter pin, and I pulled it apart, sanded down the end of this rod that goes through the other rod, and got it all cleaned up and put a new cotter pin in there. I put a new oil gauge on there. I also ran new wires for the coil. Basically, I redid the wiring up front of the tractor on this side. New battery cable. I went through the starter, cleaned it up. I went through the starter switch, cleaned up any corrosion that was in there, and repainted it. I had to get a new oil cap, oil breather. I went through the radiator. I fixed the top neck. It's up in there. I fixed the top neck. It had a leak in it, and there was also a leak down on the bottom where one of the mounting bolts goes through. Painted the shroud, new hoses on the radiator. That's still gotta be redone, but it is what it is. I cleaned up the intake and exhaust manifold, cleaned up the carburetor, and since there was no fuel in the motor left in the tractor, when it was parked and it was driven in there, I didn't mess with any of that stuff. It was still really clean on the inside. So I just ran a little carb cleaner through it, and we're good. Hopefully. I rebuilt the inside of the sediment bowl and all that, and I also had to tweak the fuel line. The fuel line before was rubbing right here on the air breather, so took care of that. And yeah, so I'm gonna get y'all set up on a tripod and see if I can get this started. Oh. All right, so y'all just saw, fired up for the first time in at least 6 years that I can remember. Took a little bit to get it going, but it is what it is. You know, it's been sitting. I think I'm burning a little oil, so I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more. But I'm gonna go for its first little drive in at least 6 years. So as y'all saw, I was able to get the tractor started today. It's a huge milestone. Now, I think it's burning a little oil, so I might have to address that. I really don't want to do a motor job on it, but we'll see from there. But she's in the barn for the night. It's way far from being complete, but it's a great start. I even went through and put on my aftermarket 3-point hitch assembly that my dad had for it, because I plan on either A, putting our belly mower on here, or B, our little 4-foot brush hog. So we'll see from there, but yep, she's in for the night. So see y'all next video. Thanks for watching.